Marty's gang, this is Musically Incorrect, and happy Louis Riel Day to everyone. We're going to keep it Riel, and we're going to rank from worst to first. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, an album that was years ago ranked #1 overall by all members of Marty's gang.
True. Yeah,
absolutely was
So
true.
we've discussed this album a lot over the years. As we were talking before the show started, that it came out, no one really knew what it was, and 6 months later it became one of the biggest albums ever. And one of the Marty's guys who's not on the show tonight was the first guy that kind of turned Otto onto it, and consequently the rest of us. He knows who he is. He had a red Dodge Laser.
He did.
Yes, he did. All right, so we're gonna get this rolling. First of all, 3 great things came out in 1987: Appetite for Destruction, Def Leppard Hysteria, and our grad year.
Yes, without a doubt, our grad year.
Okay,
Some of us barely made it, but
that's true. Were you looking at me?
No, yeah, I was.
It was easy. Okay, I am going to start with my number 12. By the way, not a bad song on this album. There's just,
yeah, they're all great.
But my number 12 would be You're Crazy. I definitely like the acoustic version way better. But that would be my number 12. Rock.
That would be my number 10. Again, no bad song on the album. Yes, the acoustic version on Lies is better. Still is a pretty good song. But there's way more classics to come, a little higher than that number. So, JT.
Number 7 for me. I hadn't heard it in a while, and like Otto mentioned, or you mentioned, Rock, that the acoustic version is way better. Like it's just great, that Lies version. I like the riff. I like how fast and kind of insane the whole thing is. It reminds me of the Streetheart song Drugstore Dancer, where a lot of people who love Streetheart don't like Drugstore Dancer because it's just wired fast. And I think this track's the same way. I like it, but to me it's a little over the top.
Streetheart's that band from Sweden, I think, right? I can't remember.
Well, there's this place, Rock. It's between Manitoba and Alberta. It's called Saskatchewan.
Oh,
and there's this little town in the prairies called Regina, where this band Streetheart was from. You might check them out someday. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're Swedish, but
yeah, get a map. It'll work out for you.
Okay, well, what kind of love is this? Okay.
Yeah.
Jobber.
Put this at number 8. Same. I think the acoustic version is way better, but this isn't a bad song. It's just, as usual in a great album, it's just too much competition.
Yeah.
And number 11 would be Anything Goes.
Yeah, that one for me is number 12. So the weakest on the album for me. Not much to say about it. It's not a horrible song or anything, but it doesn't catch me at all. So I had to throw it at the bottom of the list.
I got it at number 8. Love the riffs. Outro is really cool. Bluesy, chugging riffs. Works out. It works out like I don't know if it's an Izzy song, but it feels like it's an Izzy song, and it's got a lot of great rhythm to it, but it doesn't really kind of go enough places to make the whole thing work.
Yeah. Jobber.
9. Yeah, it's got a good bluesy riff. But yeah, it's just, and it has that Guns N' Roses signature attitude. But yeah, it's not memorable for me.
Yeah.
And number 10, moving on, be Out to Get Me. Go ahead.
Number 10?
Number 10.
I got that at number 8.
Okay.
I kind of like the attitude to it. Little pissed off attitude. I like it.
The whole album's pissed off.
Yeah, actually the whole album is pissed off. But no, great riff in it too. The chorus, I wish there was maybe a little bit more lyrical content in it, but the rest of the song, I dig it. So I'm all good.
Yeah, the same thing with me. It's number 10. I like it. It's kind of, one of the best things about it is it's like Axl's paranoia predicting itself in the future.
Yeah.
It's probably, 2 in the morning and he's been on a big party night and he's feeling that way when he wakes up. But then it turns into his whole life for
Yeah.
like the next 25, 30 years. But yeah, it's a little Broadway too. So, you know.
Yeah. Jobber.
Number 10.
Oh.
I mean,
It's a-
like
Yeah.
the descending riff, it's got that kind of. That's all I have to say about it.
That's as much that's as much dancing. That's as much dancing as we're getting out of
Yeah.
Jobber tonight for sure.
I thought we lost connection way out there or something.
that was awesome.
Or you're having a seizure or something. Do you smell burnt toast?
It's just a brain aneurysm. Don't worry about it.
Okay, we got to finish this ranking though.
Number 9, probably a lot higher than everyone else's list, but Mr. Brownstone.
That was your number 9?
My number 9.
Yeah, I've got that at number 7. I like that track. For me, as we're getting into the like 8, 7, 6s, we're already getting into the classic tunes, and for me, that's one of them.
Yeah, for me it's 12. I've never liked this song, and
Wow.
it's the beginning is directly stolen from "Everybody Wants Some" by Zeppelin, or sorry, Van Halen. It's the same riff, and it's the same type of beginning with a big flanger on and everything, and it's just like, I don't know. It to me, it's the most contrived track on the album, and I'm not I've never liked it from the first time I heard it.
Well, that's some good definition.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Jobber.
Number 5, just like the urgency of the song and how like the lyrics take you into that downward spiral.
Yeah.
That addiction spiral where it was kind of cool at first, but then it just turns into a life trap for them. And the song that just captures that perfectly.
Yeah.
And it sounds amazing live as well.
Yeah, you saw Guns N' Roses recently, didn't you, Job?
That's
like
right.
A year and a half ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was November.
And that song worked really well live.
Oh yeah, that just got everybody on their feet going crazy. Just any song from Appetite got the crowd absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Chinese Democracy songs, not so much.
Yeah.
What? Not Shackler's Revenge?
Oh boy.
Number 8, Think About You.
I've got that way down at 11. It's a decent track. Nothing for me stands out on it, but it's a decent track.
Yeah, I Think About You. I got it 4. Again, it's kind of got a boogie beat. I really like any song with hand clapping in it. It just, I don't know, it adds something to everything. I don't know what it is. It's like we've had this discussion before working on different forms of music. So like when we did the Radonova stuff, we had one song with a hand clap in it, and most of the guys I know who play music, in like serious bands, they liked it the most, and we always thought it was the hand clapping.
You know what? Just before Jobber, the best song with a hand clap is "Private Eyes."
There you go.
Yeah, no one can argue that. No.
And I'll add there from
We're
Philly.
gonna edit that out, by the way.
Jobber.
11. And I like the cowbell, and it's got that sassy bluesy riff. But competition's too tough on this album.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cowbell, the cowbell and hand clapping. It's kind of it's like a super.
It's like Don't Fear the Reaper meets Private Eyes.
Gotta have more cowbell. Gotta have the cowbell. More cowbell.
That's all we got. Okay, my number 7, Welcome to the Jungle. Obviously, that was the first track I ever heard, the video where they were all glammed up in the video. Huge, and it's not one of those songs where everyone knows it. And I'm not putting it down at number 7 because I heard it a million times. It's just actually never been in the top half of the album for me.
Yeah, I'm like you. That was the first track I heard. The video was outstanding at the time anyways. There's parts of it I don't like anymore. But it's a great song. I got it at number 5.
Yeah,
it is ones that are overplayed at every arena. but it's still a good track.
As a Cincinnati Bengals fan, you hear it a lot. So
Yeah.
that's their theme song for their, and they really use it a lot. Welcome to the Jungle, like here in Winnipeg, we've had a lot of AOR play of it over the years, and the video, leaves a lot to be desired, and I'm sure that they'd like to go back and probably change some of that. But for me, one of the things I really like about it is it is Duff's bass playing. There's really some great there's some choices you made in those days as a glam rock band that really were understated. And you can kind of look at one of our other favorite bands from that era, Cinderella. Eric doesn't do a lot of really interesting bass on it. He holds it up. He has a great tone and everything, but Duff really nails some almost Metallica-like stuff, like not at the same quickness or speed of Cliff, but really grinding it underneath. It's up in the mix, and I think that's why that's my number 3 on this album, because it just I love great bass playing, and great bass playing in heavy metal's hard to do. It's really hard to find a good.
That's your Steve Harris.
Well, yeah, and that's a different structure, right? Like, I mean, Steve Harris drives the band. Duff's a background player, right?
He is Steel Panther.
No, Randy's he's about to get kicked out.
What was the problem? Oh, it was the Steel Panther versus the versus Bruce Dickinson.
A whole other episode of why Steel Panther sucks.
Jobber, please help Duff here.
Number 4. It's a great headbanging song. If memory serves, that's the song they opened with in the show.
Great opener.
Went boom. That was just set the tone for the rest of the show. I agree. Duff has such a great tone on this album, really up in the mix.
Yeah.
He is a pick player, so Harris gets my vote. I mean, who can pluck faster than Steve Harris? Like that's a topic for another time. But
Jocko.
That's the song is just quintessential Guns N' Roses. You have to pick a Guns N' Roses song. This is what Guns N' Roses is all about.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, if you had to teach Guns N' Roses to all the kiddies out there, you'd start with "Welcome to the Jungle."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely.
My number 6 is My Michelle. I don't know. It's a great song. Plus, you feel like you're in like the dirty underbelly of LA just listening to it. You almost want to shower after you hear it. That's my number 6.
Kind of like after this podcast. I got My Michelle at number 9. Good track. Yeah, the lyrics are a little dusty at times, but it's a good track. I like it.
Yeah, I got Poor Michelle at number 11. The chorus really bugs me, and it's always really bugged me. I love the opening on it, and it has a feel kind of like a track almost off Sabotage or Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. It's got that feel to it. It's really raw. It's got the great riffs in it, but it feels to me like they tried to put 2 songs together, and it didn't work. That's for me, the chorus doesn't work with the rest of the song, and yet the opening part, it's like I'm really liking it. But as soon as it gets to the chorus, I'm like, why? Why would you change it like that? Like, why would you go so far away from where you had this great groove going on? So
it was all the smack.
Jobber.
12. It's
wow.
Unfortunately, JT took away all my thunder on this. Is exactly what I was going to say. Like, the chorus doesn't work for me. I don't find it that memorable, but I like the intro. The intro. So sorry, guys.
Yeah.
All right. It's all right. My number 5, Night Train. How many times did we play this? Having a few back in the day.
Should be your nickname.
Yeah, it's sort of it was definitely a theme song at some point.
Yeah. All right, that's a great track. I got it at number 6. I love it. It's fast. It's a fun track.
Yeah, I have it at number 6 too. And I mean, to me, the opening is this. It's almost like something that the Yardbirds would have tried, or like late 50s, early 60s R&B blues, where you match the guitar with the with the vocal track, and it's Night Train's, you know, there was a famous football player named Night Train Lane, and it's just it's this kind of this locomotive feel, and the opening is just, I love it. It's like, it's probably my favorite opening of a Guns N' Roses song. The chorus, to me, it seems to pull it out. Like, it just pulls out the energy, and I wish it had gone further. Otherwise, I'd have it definitely top 2 or top 3. But yeah, for me, it's got to be, yeah, it's number 6, and I want it to be higher. I really, there's so many good things about the song.
Jobber.
Number 6, same. It really is an anthem to debauchery.
Yeah.
Ready to crash and burn.
Yeah.
It just is a signature song for rock and roll and what it's supposed to be about if you can survive the game. But no, it just has a great energy to it. I like the chorus better than JT, but no, it's definitely fits perfect in the middle of this album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, my number 4, It's So Easy. I don't know if you could get lyrics that we used quite a bit. I see you standing there.
Yeah.
You think you're so cool.
Why don't you?
That's our number 4.
Yeah. My number 4 as well. It's a great song, but yeah, the lyrics after we've had a few beverages would get repeated over and over, and it became kind of a joke between our group. It was fun times.
To me, it's number 2. I love it. I love the riff. I love it. It's like we were talking about before the show. I was surprised at some of the deeper tracks on this album, how long they are and how protracted some of the outros and solos are. It's So Easy is not that. No. It's almost like punk rock. It is so radically quick, so brutal. It is Jobber, I'm not sure how they pronounce it in Japan. I think it's Sleazu or something like that. Sleazy. But it's a really sleazy, yeah, it is a super sleazy song, super dirty, dark, and you know, narcissistic. And I maybe related to it more when I was 22 or 23. I don't relate to it now, but it's still, the song rocks. I mean, I don't have any, it doesn't change anything for the way that I first felt the energy from it, and it really captures just like really raw power that the band was capable of as a live band. And like, it's just it's a live song on the album. It's not constructed at all. It's just, they just rip.
Yeah.
No, it's got number 7. It's a little weaker than Night Train in my opinion, but it does have that raw punk attitude. I like the lead up to the solo in particular. And yeah, during the concert, Axl actually said that line to the audience.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
we were like, okay, you can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Number 3, probably one of my favorite videos of all time. Paradise City.
Yeah. That's my number 3 as well. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Great video. I love the outdoor concert footage that they had on there. It's such an awesome track. And I think these 3 remaining ones that I'm sure we all have in our top 3 have been overplayed a lot, but that is such a great track. And as the chorus builds towards the end of the song, it just gets destructive. Love it.
Yeah.
When I left the Okanagan and moved back to Northern Ontario when I was 18, and the first band I was jamming with, this was one of the 5 songs we learned for the Dryden High School Christmas forced Christmas assembly. So you weren't allowed to not leave. Yeah, so we did Paradise City, a truncated version of it, and at that point it was probably my favorite Guns N' Roses song. And part of the FM issue, part of just, to me now, wanting much more compact songs. And I don't like it when I find things that are added to tracks to make them longer for the sake of who knows what that would be. But yeah, for me, Paradise City is actually number 9.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So many solos.
And number 3, just a fun sing-along summertime fun tune. I like the Love the chorus. And yeah, the ending goes up tempo and seems to fly apart at the seams, but it's just perfectly, it works so well for Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
You can have that sing-along attitude and not have it go completely Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Geez,
Sammy
Sambo, like,
is in a couple of
Pete, I'll tell you,
course.
this, like, the last trip we took before the pandemic started, we went to go see Billy Idol in Vegas. And when you're up at 6 in the morning, like, we're not partiers anymore because we're too old, but we were up pretty early because we didn't want to get the desert heat. When you walk down the strip, Cabo Wabo is the only place with 19-year-old guys with solo cups listening to Sammy Hagar cranked and drinking straight vodka and throwing up on the strip. So Sammy's got some edge.
Oh yeah, he's a great singer.
Okay.
No, I'm not just saying Sammy Hagar at all. He's a great singer.
Well,
I love his tunes. So
get back on track. Number 2, definitely overplayed, but still, it's Sweet Child of Mine. Fantastic.
See, yes, definitely overplayed, but that is my number 1 song. And fun fact, for parts of my life, it's been my favorite song of all time, any band, anytime.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So
Why?
it kind of bounces between number 1 and number 2, but yeah, so that's where it is. So it has to be number 1 for me on this album.
Wow.
DT.
Sweet Child of Mine, like Rock mentioned, yeah, it's way overplayed, and the thing is it's there's still some really subtle parts to it that when I hear it after the 500th time, I still go, hey, I didn't even realize Axl was doing that. It's probably his best vocal work,
Yeah.
I think, on any track. He really all his vocal range is highlighted in that entire song, where he can go subtle, where he can go strong, where he can do anything. He doesn't just go like what we were talking about with like Out to Get Me. He's just crazy the whole song. Like there's no subtlety. And this song has all the great subtleties in Axl, why he's renowned for what he is. And I think it's still, is it a power ballad? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't
It's
think
not
so.
really,
a power ballad, but we used to call it the GNR love song.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
for
it
me,
has my favorite Slash solo in it. So
the solo's incredible. Yeah, it is really incredible. So for me, that's number 5.
Number 5. Okay. Jobber.
2, just it's such a catchy song. The intro was apparently Slash's warm-up exercise.
That makes
It was
sense.
something he used.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I heard. I can't verify it, but this is something he would practice on guitar to become more to increase his chops. But it's just so catchy, and the bass line that goes with it at the beginning.
Yeah.
My band is trying to work out this song, and so I really enjoy playing that line. It just works so well with those two counterparts. It's very, in some ways, not very Guns N' Roses. It's very subtle and complicated.
It is. Yeah, I think the whole song it's like there are a lot of surprises in it when you start digging into the structure.
Okay, off to my number 1. I will state that this album is in my personal top 10 ever. My number 1 song from this album is in my top 10 songs of all time. That is Rocket Queen. I don't know. That's, to me, this is his peak, like right near the end there. Just chills every single time.
Yeah, I get the chills every single time on that one too. It's my number 2 on the album. But that part of it is one of the greatest parts of any song.
Easily.
The rest of the song is great, but it just doesn't match up to Sweet Child for me. But I love it. It's too bad it wasn't released as a single or a video or whatever, because they could have probably sold another few million.
Yeah, I agree. It's it's number 1 on this album. Like I hadn't really listened to it closely in a couple of years, and easily Slash's best solo section. The slide solo is awesome. The other solo is awesome. The lyrics are incredibly strange and yet really evocative. I bet you that probably 90% of the people out there that listen to Guns N' Roses might not even have heard this track. You know, it's not a radio track. I don't, even I know people I know that are huge GNR fans, they never mention this song, you know, and I love it. I think it's just, every time I listen to it, there's something new I hear in it that's just fascinating, and it's it's really unique.
I think it's a good song to profile Guns N' Roses fans with. If they don't mention Rocket Queen,
You got, yeah, there's something to that for sure. Definitely.
Jobber.
Number one, of course. Yeah, it's weird. It's my favorite. I think it's the best Guns N' Roses song of all time.
Easy.
And yet it's kind of a deep cut.
Yeah.
It's like Simple Rhyme, kind of only true fans really can pinpoint that and the brilliance of it. I think shows really good musical intelligence, the way it shifts tone.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of Clapton's Layla, that.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Suddenly it just shifts into a completely different gear, but it still works beautifully well. And the driving riff at the beginning, the bass line is great. Axl is just beyond belief on this song. So
I think that if they had followed the path of what they did in that song, they would have had 4 more albums on Van Halen Zepp levels instead of what happened afterwards, which was the night train wreck.
That's I was going to say though. It's tough when you start off on such a high note. Sometimes it's better to build up like Priest or Def Leppard, or Rush, and then you build
the
into
expectations coming out of Appetite, were sky high.
They were.
Like, where do you go from there?
Yeah. Where do we
could have
go?
been the next Aerosmith, but in terms of
American
band,
and then to hell.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay, so here we go. Ready?
Yep.
In 12th place, we have Anything Goes. 11th, Out to Get Me. 10th, My Michelle. 9th, You're Crazy. 8th, Think About You. 7, Mr. Brownstone. 6, Night Train. 5, Welcome to the Jungle. 4, Paradise City. 3rd, It's So Easy. And not even close. 2nd place, Sweet Child of Mine. 1st, Rocket Queen. There you have it.
That album is actually my 3rd favorite album of all time. I think Bill said it was in his top 10.
In my top 10.
So it should be in most people's top 10.
Yeah.
JT and Jobber. I'm talking to you guys.
It's second to Miles Davis, Sorcerer.
Yeah, I figured as much. Okay, I got a special announcement. So this is our 3rd episode that we're recording right now. JT had mentioned at the top of the show, we had a buddy who drove a Burgundy Laser. I think it was a Dodge Laser or something.
It was a Dodge Laser, yes.
He is an OG member of the Marty's gang. So I spoke to him the other day. He is more than willing, more than happy to come on to one of our episodes. And I threw out probably a Dawkins episode, a Cinderella episode. Or Bon Jovi. I don't know if both those two guys are Bon Jovi, but anyway. Yes, so the OG, he's going to join us on a very future episode, hopefully in the near future.
That's awesome. Awesome news. That's fantastic.
That's great.
My vote would be
Further member of the Marty's gang.
Yeah, and hopefully we can reveal more members in the future and have special guests on, and because
it's a big game, man.
And also I want to mention that if this takes off and somebody out there wants us, they throw their favorite album at us, and if we don't know it or we know it, we'll rank that album.
Throw it in the comments and we'll rank those albums, and then you can kind of see where your personal rankings were amongst the 4 of us older metalheads.
And feel free to throw in obscure avant-garde jazz albums from the mid-60s, like McCoy Tyner, like Ornette Coleman stuff. There's one Ornette Coleman album that's just one song, and you have to flip it to continue the whole song, and it actually is atonal jazz, and it's just one riff. So it's like we can do this stuff.